Hello and welcome.
Welcome back.
I'm KJ and this is Swiley, and you're listening to UnMaddening, where we unpack the madness of society one delightful word at a time.
Delightful, as always, delightful.
Yes, if it's your first time, sorry. This is kind of misleading. Right, the word of the day is virtue. Familiar with it?
I am familiar with it.
Very good. Let's break down the definition then, shall we? Behaviour showing high moral standards. Example, paragons of virtue. We have a definition saying a quality considered morally good or desirable in a person. And then the example there is patience is a virtue. Heard that one
I've heard that
once
one many,
or
many
twice.
times.
Said it once or twice to the children. Oh dear. Another definition is a good or useful quality of a thing. So the example here is Mike going on about the virtues of the car he wants to buy is what that example was. The archaic definition of virtue is virginity or chastity, especially of a woman. That's archaic now.
Archaic.
Just by the way, in case you were wondering. Some phrases including the wonderful word of virtue that are also thrown around along with the, your patience is a virtue is by virtue of, meaning because or as a result of.
Yep.
And make a virtue of, meaning derive benefit or advantage from submitting to, like an unwelcome obligation, but you do get an advantage out of it. Right, so Urban Dictionary definitions for virtue. We have something, someone, or an action having good morality, standard, pure in nature, high quality. Yeah, cool. I also found an acronym, which I thought was not necessarily the right definition here, but it was vitally important, right to unite everyone. And I like acronyms. So I thought, I'll just include that one for whoever that poster was.
Yeah. I think that unite thing it sort of tends towards virtue signalling.
Yes, well, we'll get to those ones in a minute as well. Yes, so that's why I say, like, I read it and I liked that it was an acronym and there was some truth in it. However, that word is just so misrepresented, isn't it? That when you put unity in there or unite, or it's a bit scary. Yes, there's another acronym that I really like, which I have in the front of my Bible. It was one for faith, which was forsaking all, I trust him. And I'd written that in the front of my Bible many, many moons ago. Yep. It's a good one. Forsaking all, I trust him. Faith. Nice. Virtue signalling is also on the Urban Dictionary. You've heard this one thrown around a little bit, I'm sure, there, Swals. It means the self-serving, disingenuous acts of presenting and solidifying oneself as concerned with, committed to, or compliant to a specific political alignment regarding political topics or issues for prestige or ego.
And virtue salute to that. Definitely ego.
Prestige or ego. Right. The example for this one is very politically biased. It says, if the president genuinely cared about women's rights, he'd do less virtue signalling on Twitter and more action. We have another definition here for virtue signalling from April of 2021. And now the timeline of this is important when you hear what their definition is. Taking a selfie with a COVID mask to show that you are complying with CDC recommendations to protect your neighbour even though you are perfectly healthy. Also, adding a frame to your profile picture saying that you got vaccinated. Example sentence, she posted another masked selfie. She is just virtue signalling.
Yeah, that's because she didn't have two on.
Oh, how rude. Double the protection.
Double up.
You care more about your neighbours if you're wearing two, obviously.
One over your ears, one on top of your head. Like that ad on TV with the women's products. Just full of masks. Pew, 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 pew.
Yeah, that was a funny ad, actually. Yeah. Or, you're wearing a mask in your car or you drive by yourself just in case. Yeah. Good one. Another definition for virtue signalling from the Urban Dictionary is saying you love or hate something to show off what a virtuous person you are instead of actually trying to fix the problem.
Let's get back to what the actual meaning of that word was then for a second.
Which word? Virtue?
Yeah.
The original word?
Yeah.
Okay, would you like the original definition then?
Just because I want to pick out one point out of that.
Okay. Behaviour showing high moral standards is your original definition.
So would that show high moral standards, or are you just the moral standard of just showing yourself?
Yes, well.
You're going to get to that, aren't you?
Well, I was going to move past the virtue signalling definitions into one called virtue purchase.
Okay, now this is new to me.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So it's similar to virtue signalling, but it's done by means of buying trendy goods or services so as to display one sense of contrived self-superiority. Items such as books by politically correct PC authors, garish artwork purported to save rainforests or something, or fair trade coffee that makes the buyer feel woke. Fattishly leftist buying habits that conform to intersectionality and other expressions of socially popular social justice warrior pseudoscience. It's a very wordy one, but it's great. Especially popular among university students.
Of course.
This is your virtue purchasing. And the example little sentence here is referencing a person called Ashley Megan. And she isn't actually going to read Michelle Obama's new book. She just bought it to put on the coffee table in case one of her black classmates shows up unexpectedly. It's more of a virtue purchase.
Yes. So you
Look
can
at
find
me.
them when you add them to your cart. It goes in that little bin thing. There's lots of good virtue purchases in that bin.
But we also have virtue marketing now. It's the act of virtue signalling from a corporate standpoint. Surely they wouldn't be doing anything like that. From a corporate standpoint, in an effort to ostracize some or all of your audience for the sake of moral superiority. Our example here, stockholder. Why exactly is your company value down 50% in the last month? The CEO says, we decided to take a political stance and made an attempt at virtue marketing our services. Turns out we told our primary audience we didn't want their money anymore.
That bonds.
And this is whoops. This just makes me think of that saying of like, go woke, go broke. How many companies have done this of late where they do this ridiculous virtue marketing, virtue signalling thing of, what was the Budweiser one? Like, look at this. We'll get Dylan up there to drink our beer and then everyone would stop buying it and because you virtue marketed incorrectly and you sold out your
Understand
target audience.
your market.
Yes, virtue marketing. We also have virtue billboard, which is the definition of this is solar panels that are prominently installed and look good from the street, but will never create a return on the investment, let alone a buddy thumbs up for the environment.
How do they look good from the street? Those big ugly panels on your
It
roof.
looks good because it's virtue signalling that your virtue billboard shows that you are virtuous because you care about the environment because you put solar panels on your house.
Well, soon they'll print those, those vinyl wraps that you can put on top of your roof that look like you've got your roof covered in solar panels.
You can print the magnets or something like that and just sort of pop them up there.
Yeah.
They're fairly inexpensive.
Just a piece of wood with a bit of wrap over it. 10 times cheaper.
Who's going to get up there and check?
It looks good from the street.
Right. Another one for virtue is the virtue slur. I found this again on the Urban Dictionary. The definition of the virtue slur is when social justice warriors scream out virtue signalling terms such as racist, misogyny, xenophobic, literally a Nazi, etc., in an attempt to label sane people who dare question the social justice warrior ideology. We were just watching a little live stream of Avi and Rukshan in
Melbourne.
in the streets of Melbourne. Yeah, there seem to be quite a few of those virtue slurs being thrown around the place.
They sound like children. I know you are. I said you are. What am I?
Oh, I know. It's pathetic. They handle it really well. Props to you, lads. You do a great job. It got me thinking about the TV program The Good Place, which I've been rewatching. And there's this term in there because they talk about philosophy a lot in that show. And it was moral desert, the definition being the concept that if you act with virtue, you deserve a reward. Right? So we've got like all these virtue slurs, billboards, marketing, purchases, signaling, etc., all because you if you pretend to be this thing, you think that others will believe that you're worthy and you're going to get something in return. You're not even doing it because it's the right thing to do.
Doesn't it discount the premise?
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I think. The moral desert factor is just, like, in my view, very selfish. You don't really care about the cause. You're just manipulating what virtue is actually meant to be, so that people look at you and think that you're awesome. Oh, you're so cool. But why do you care what they...
I mean, there's an old saying as well, that good things happen to good people, or good things come
good
to good
things
people.
come to those who wait, I think is possibly the one that you're thinking about. But
No, the good things come to good people, and people that do good, and then good things come to them.
how about the one, gosh, I'm probably going to say it wrong. Beulah will be disappointed. To do with the good, it is good things coming to those who wait, etc. But it's like, to whom much is given, much is required, or something along those lines. Why is it all just about getting something back
in return?
Yeah, something that you think is positive, like that you deserve a reward back there in the moral.
Well, that's
desserts
right. If you're doing
definition.
something just for the reward or just for the props or the certificate at the end of it, then you haven't done it for actually the right reasons at all. You're doing it for you, not for anyone else, just for you.
Which is different if we're talking about certificates for you having studied or you've earned something and you've done awesome, and you should be given recognition for your hard work in that. But these concepts are more just to do with your peers or whatever group you think is trendy at the time that you want them to accept you and like you. So you try and fit in with them with your virtue, etc., whichever one you want to pick.
Yeah. And as soon as that changes and someone decides, oh no, we don't agree with that anymore, we'll cast that one aside.
Yeah.
And we'll jump back onto the anti this and the anti that, when you're pro this and pro that. And
what's the popular narrative?
Yeah.
Where are the most people walking? Follow them. Bah. That looks like something interesting's happening over there. What are they all chanting? Let's chant too.
If you jump on each side of the fence constantly, you're going to get hit by that barbed wire eventually.
Well, one can only hope. On the Googleizer, underneath that definition search of what, for the word virtue, there was this question, what is the true meaning of virtue? And there was an answer to it, okay? So the Googleizer says that virtue is the quality of being morally good. If you're writing a screenplay and you want it to be a real tearjerker, make sure your hero is full of virtue. The word virtue comes from the Latin root vir, for man. At first, virtue meant manliness or valour, but over time it's settled into the sense of moral excellence. Well, that was an interesting definition there.
Pretty hard to obtain excellence.
Well, I mean, you should be looking for it, seeking it,
of course.
Trying to have virtuous character traits, actually having them, not just doing things that appear from the outside, like you've ticked some box, some magical, ever-changing, ever-moving benchmark. Another auto question that was on the web there was an AI overview of what the Bible said that virtue is. So it says virtue generally refers to moral excellence, righteousness, and inner strength that aligns with God's will, encompassing qualities like compassion, kindness, humility, purity of spirit, and often linked to obedience to God's word and the pursuits of righteousness. Ultimately, biblical virtue is about living a life pleasing to God by actively choosing good and resisting evil. Pleasing to God, not pleasing to yourself. Whatever that political thing was that you're chasing.
Or the neighbour that gets to look at your solar panels.
Yes. Right. So normally we would have a little chat about
all these people, just going back to the solar panels thing, do you think God's looking down on the earth and seeing all these solar panels and going, gee, good people?
I don't know, maybe he is. And maybe the motivation behind a lot of the people having installed them is genuinely good and moral and not just virtue signalling to somebody else that they want, clout for, look how cool I am. But, they're bigger fish to fry.
Not against solar panels. If you've got them, you need them. Not against them.
Although I am against the fact that now, even though you spend all that money on installing them, you're not actually getting any financial benefit. So I'm very sorry for those of you who were duped into purchasing them and thought you were doing the right thing for your bank account and the environment in some capacity. Turns out, it wasn't really the case. Shocking. Okay, so we normally now would talk about, relating our word of the day to a specific or a few things going on in the current news around us.
Yep.
I had a really hard time with just breaking it down to one thing when looking at
Who, you?
virtue. Well, because with this word, there's a plethora of ridiculousness that you can apply it to and poke at and just be mad about.
So we're going to break this into a 7-episode piece?
No. We're just going to touch on one. We'll just do one of them. It's going to be Albo, bless his cotton socks.
There's never a target of ours.
Mr. Prime Minister. Yeah. Albo and his plan to help people not have to rent forever. So you've seen his last little thing over that. It was let's make the mortgage deposits only have to be 5% with no mortgage insurance, and you shouldn't have to rent forever, or whatever his caption was that he was carrying on about. Cool. What did you solve there? Your virtue signalling nonsense. What did it actually do, mate? Never mind the cost of living crisis, or that there aren't enough homes to buy. And we also then have this alternate concept, which is let's tax people for having empty bedrooms in their homes.
Yeah. Well, that's more of just a threat, a generated threat to think, oh, well, when that comes across the line and we don't want that, we win that, but we'll accept this sort of thing. It's a not
so you reckon
really,
they float that one so that when they give you the other one, you're less upset about the one that they said beforehand?
Makes it an easier pill to swallow.
So manipulative, my goodness. That one really makes me cross. Imagine that you've worked really hard to purchase your house. It happens to have a room that you use as an office and occasionally a spare room or whatever you want because it's your house. And then they're like, oh, no, you can't have that.
But those 5% deposits, I mean, we've done this from the
They
beginning.
did do it
We've
before,
done it
didn't
before,
they?
yeah, with the first home buyers incentive and did that help increase the market, make it more affordable, make it easier for people to get in? No, it just floods the market. I mean, not that we have. If they want to make the market a little bit easier for people to get into, they've got to release more land and cut through all the red tape.
They're working on releasing more land. Don't worry about that. There's also a policy in South Australia to take your land back from you if they deem that you are not using it.
But the more of it is more of the government involvement in 90% of the cost on building a house is through all the red tape. I mean, you look at what the prices of what it cost to build a house before to what it is now, and that's because you've got this standard that you need to adhere to. You've got your energy standard that you need to adhere to. You need to do this. You need to do that. Environmental studies need to be done for this. Environmental studies for that. And that adds up and adds up and adds up. Of course it does. And you've probably, by the end of it, you probably had another $100,000 just on
the regulations,
paperwork and bureaucracy to the house price. And I think that's a little bit more than 5%.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. So that's, I think it's mad. Virtue signalling madness.
But it'll come along with another 7. You get 5% interest rate. You're still going to have to pay for it. It's co-occupied government housing is what they're talking about as well, like a co-op housing arrangement where they'll own some of it and you can't pay for it and then they'll take it back.
But it doesn't even matter if they own some of it
and you'll be happy.
It doesn't matter if they actually co-op with you anyway because they are trying to just take it from you regardless. I see you've got that land over there. You don't appear to be using it, so we're going to have that now. What? Gone will be the days where they want to build highways through farmland and they actually appropriately pay the people to do that.
Yeah.
That's not even going to be a thing. They'll just be like, nah, we want to build something here, I don't know, whatever they feel like, and they're just taking it.
Here's a policy and it's ours now.
It's mental. Anyway.
It is very much a virtue signalling.
But I didn't know who he thought he was virtue signalling to because if he was thinking when he put it on X that he was going to have some nice feedback, goodness knows if he even reads the comments and things on there. But I did not see a single comment that was like, oh, Albo, you're the best. Thank you, Mr. Prime Minister. I really appreciate your policy. Everyone was very cross. As they should be.
It's not going to help the housing crisis. It's just going to exasperate it even more.
I liked that people were commenting you should be cross, you should say something, and we should be insisting that there is actually real change to solve these problems, not just the virtue billboard of whatever it is that Albo wants to say this week. Yes. If you have eyes and independent thought, you can definitely see how manipulated the term virtue has been and continues to be before your very eyes. In the Western world in particular, it's shocking. So just to remind you, in case you got lost in that lack of virtuous mess of Australian politics, you had your AI overview there of biblical virtue, right? So I thought I would just mention a passage in the Bible from Galatians. It's the fruit of the Spirit passage. Fruit of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. That's what we should be aiming for. And looking for in our spouses and trying to raise in our children and encouraging friendships that involve people that also value those virtuous traits, genuinely virtuous traits, not just buying that book and putting it on your coffee table so someone thinks that you're awesome.
Or the solar panel.
You love the solar panels. It's like week after week we pick these words and I think, oh, that's a great word. And they are great words, but man, sometimes they can be really agitating. It's not even the word choice. I feel like it doesn't matter which word we choose. It still makes me a little bit cranky. Anyway, that's why we UnMadden.
Yes, that's
we UnMadden, and then we wind down. Hopefully, our intent here is actually to be encouraging. We want you to be free thinkers. It's your choice. You can be one or not. Up to you.
Yeah, it's free.
I'd like you to be one. And to be discerning. If you have already taken the red pill, don't forget that your mainstream and your politicians and all of those around you, you need to be looking for these little traps and these tricks and the manipulations and the virtue signalling and spot it for what it is and call it out for what it is.
Yeah.
And then look for people who are genuinely virtuous. From a heart that wants to be, not just from a point of looking for validation from others.
Be discerning about what you hear, what you read, and what you see.
Okay, vintage culture appreciation. Today is, after our conversation yesterday, friendship bracelets. We were talking about friendship bracelets in the car. Yes, so we're talking the vintage style ones here that you would plait together with your little pieces of wool in various colours, and you might pick out what colour is your best friend's colour or your sibling's colour or whatever and make it up for them and hand it over and tie it on. And then once you tie it on and it's a little knot, it's like it's there forever. Very cute, sweet. Yeah. I really liked them.
And it's not the ones that you get now, the virtue purchase ones that you can get where you buy them and it's got World Health Organisation on it and you wear it on your wrist.
Yeah, WEF or I got vaccinated or something. Yeah. Nah. Also really liked the bead ones. I loved making things with beads when I was a kid, and I had quite a collection from my pocket money. I would go and buy all these little beads in this tiny little bead shop in the little town that we lived in. Swifties all over the world also love friendship bracelets. Look that up.
Oh, okay. I won't.
All the way up their arms. It's a thing. It's a Swiftie thing. Another version of the friendship bracelets, which is quite popular now and has been for a little while, is the loom band ones.
Yep.
Like the little rubber ones that they knit together, or not knit together. I'm not sure what the term is for it.
Twist
loom together.
Loom together. Well, loom bands, I suppose it would be loom together.
I don't know. Some of the little ladies in our family are pretty clever with them, actually, and there's various styles that they can put them together in, and they look really cool.
Yeah.
Yes, and you already mentioned the quote unquote virtuous ones that we see about the place now.
Do you remember the lollies that you used to get? My friend, best friend, or I love you, and
the bracelet ones.
No, well, not the bracelet
the
ones.
The stretchy bracelet ones.
Oh, did they have them in bracelet ones?
They
did.
Yeah, you're cool. You just treated.
I was talking about like the little heart ones, the little heart candies that you could get.
Yeah, I remember the heart candy ones, but there were also those little elasticized lolly bracelets that you could get too. Yeah. Excellent. Nice
true friend would give you one of those.
Slumber party. I'm not going to give you one, Swirls. Buy your own, for goodness sake. All right. Well, I guess we might have to just get the wool out next time we have the little ladies around and see if we can show them not just the loom band one, but the original
ones,
plaited style ones. Something to think about. Right. Okay. On that note, That was fun.
As always.
I actually feel a little bit unmaddened because we finished on a nice high thing and it didn't bring me back down.
So I threw in the, I'm not going to say it because we're going to lose the vibe.
Yeah, all right. The vibe is good. Keep it up.
Keep it up.
Thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time. Until then, God bless. Peace out.
You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
This content is for informational purposes only and should not be considered as professional advice. We're not virtue signalers, social justice warriors, pastors or politicians. You're not more likely to suck less or try hard having listened to these shenanigans, but you might just be empowered to take the red pill.